What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Solandia Hammond, aka Sueham, baby, also known as your thug motivator, and I am back with another explosive interview. Oh my gosh, my guest tonight is none other than Natasha. I'm sorry, I'm so ready to say the Toddy part. Toddy, I love that. Natasha
Just
Tottie
gave you a
Weston.
name. I love it.
That is pretty tight though.
That
But Natasha Tottie Weston, welcome to the Sueham Show. How are you?
I'm good, Sue. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
Uh,
Listen, before we get into you telling the rest of the world who you are, tell us how you got the name Toddy. It's different. It's cute. It's different. It's
You
catchy.
gotta love those childhood nicknames. My parents always called me Tot, like from a toddler on up, and I absolutely hated it. It was like one of those secret family nicknames that you just grow up with, and you don't
Uh,
want anybody outside of the family calling you that. So when I got to high school, a cousin of mine moved to Charleston from Augusta, Georgia, and she
mm-hmm.
was just like ghetto fabulous. And she had to like remix it and she started calling me Toddy.
Mm-hmm.
And then once she started calling me Toddy, everybody in the neighborhood and everybody else started calling me that. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm stuck with it now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just kind of went with it and people, they call me Toddy now more than they do Natasha. So I just
Wow.
kind of answered as a second name.
Cool deal. Cool deal. I love it. I love nicknames. I think people remember
Yeah.
those nicknames. I think like P. Diddy is the king of nicknames. So hey, and what he's doing is working. So I believe in
Exactly.
following people who are making it
Right.
happen. All right. So
Right.
tell the world who you are and some of the things that you do.
I am a millennial author, well, almost three-time published author, and I'm also a brand strategist. And I help ordinary people to tap into their personal brands and allow it to make them money
Mm-hmm.
and to gain the influence that really will change the world. And so people come to me all the time. Sometimes they have businesses and sometimes they don't. And they want
Mm-hmm.
to figure out, well, how do I separate my business from my personal brand and how do I leverage who I am authentically into the world and so it can make me money and give me the influence that I need to make a difference in my life, my family's life, and then the people who are connected to me lives as well. So that's just a little
Cool.
bit about what I do.
Cool. Now I know you didn't always start out that way. Actually, you had a typical 9 to 5 job. For
Yes.
someone who's watching, and now let me, I always like to put the disclaimer out there because I don't down jobs because there are a lot of people who view their jobs as careers. They love it. But for
Yes.
those who know that there's something else for them, like I did and you did, how
Mhm.
did you make that transition from the regular job into what you do now?
Actually, I made the transition more than once. This last
More
time it
than
was
once.
so I've always known that I was not made to stay on a 9 to 5.
Hmm.
I appreciate the journey, obviously, because it taught me a lot of lessons.
Right.
And, realistically, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. And so I say if you know deep down inside that you aren't born to work a 9 to 5 until retirement, stay on the job until you'll know when it's time to
Yeah.
walk away. But when I say I walked away more than one time, I did. The first time it was because I was going on maternity leave with my son Tyler, who's now 3,
Hmm.
and the position that I had was not a permanent position. However, I had been at the bank for like 2.5 years,
Hmm.
and the department that I worked in, they were getting ready to shift the department to a new facility in North Carolina. And of course, temps are the last to get hired.
Right.
So I knew going on maternity leave that I wasn't going to have a job to come back to. And that's when I decided to write my first book because I knew I needed some passive income.
Hmm.
I had to go back to what I knew how to do, start a business while working a job with little to no startup money. And so that was my first time making a decision that, okay, I'm going to do this thing so that I don't have to go back on a 9 to 5. And
Right.
that worked for a while. But obviously, like, now I have like a child, so I have to make decisions that I probably wouldn't have made if I didn't have him. So I went back into corporate America. And to sum it up, this last time, I literally felt like I was suffocating on my job,
Wow.
going in every day, and I was so unhappy. And I found that I was being a different person at work because I was so unhappy,
Hmm.
and I wasn't being productive doing the things I was passionate about. And so one day, like after a series of events happened, I finally made the decision, like, I'm going to just take this leap of faith and do what I got to do. Because the truth is, like, when your back is up against the wall and you don't have no choice, you don't have that job to fall back on, you got to hustle and make it happen.
Absolutely.
And that's what happened. And even after that, I still was like, okay, God, like, I know I need a job to take care of my son and to pay these bills. So you either got to open a door for me for a job, or you got to make this entrepreneurship thing work.
Right.
So I literally, Sue, I'm not kidding. I put in over 100 job applications not too long ago. And I literally got not even called in for a job at McDonald's. That's how desperate I was.
Wow.
McDonald's didn't even call me back. And I mean, obviously, it's because of one or two reasons. I was overqualified and they thought it was a joke. Or two, was God just saying, I don't want you back on the 9 to 5 right now, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And so I literally just had to hustle and pull out everything on the inside of me to make it work.
Right.
And it's been working. And so I say to anybody out there that is on the 9 to 5, but you know deep down entrepreneurship is for you, just pray about it. And literally, you know, like I said, I was physically feeling like I was suffocating.
Right.
Literally.
Right.
Like every day I went to work, I was so unhappy. And I always tell people, like, who you are on your job and who you are on the weekends shouldn't be too far different.
Absolutely.
So if you find yourself like really mean and not nice on the job, 9 times out of 10, it's probably time for you to leave. Because I always looked at it this way. If my coworkers see me out in the street, do I want them to see this person they see every day at work because I'm unhappy here?
Mm-hmm.
No, I want them to see the same person on the job than off the job. So I knew there was a huge disconnect, and that was a problem for me. And so I knew that something had to happen. So that's just like a little bit about how I got into entrepreneurship full time.
I love that, man. I love how things align and force you into your destiny sometimes. I've said this on several interviews and shows because I've heard it and it just kind of stuck with me. A lot of times, pain and disgust will force us into living our purpose. Yeah. And so, you know, you needed a job, but at the same time, you know, you couldn't get one. So it was like, yo, I don't got no money. I got to make this thing work.
Like, I had to literally hustle like my butt off.
Cool.
And for a long time, I couldn't even tell my family, like not my mom and my dad and my immediate, but like my family, like even my child's father, like up until recently, he just found out that I'm not working a 9 to 5. And that's because, I mean, like if you grew up, like I grew up with a lot of traditional family members. So like, you know, success to them is graduating from college and getting a really good job in corporate America.
Right.
So what I'm doing, they've never seen it done before. And so I knew to protect my purpose really and to keep me focused without the outside opinions of people that have never seen it done before, I couldn't tell them I can't find a job and I'm not working.
That's deep.
So yeah, so and if they're watching this, they probably know now, but I didn't tell a lot of people, oh, I'm doing entrepreneurship full time, because I had to keep that to myself to make sure that I kept the focus I needed to make it work.
Right.
Because we, you know, as bad as you may say, well, I don't care what people think. We care what people think.
We do.
Especially our family.
Yes.
And when you're doing something that they don't either understand or they've never seen done before, sometimes you got to keep that dream, just keep it to yourself until you are like really confident and that you kind of hit the ground running with it. Because if not, they will literally abort everything that you set out to do. And so for a long time, I kept it like up until like maybe the last month or two, people are now, my family that is, are finding out that I don't have a 9 to 5. And they're like, well, how have you been paying your bills? God, hustle. Like, this is all I have. What I do when I wake up is how I pay my bills. It's how I take care of my son. So it's like all or nothing for me.
You know, and it kind of reminds me of what Damian John said. You know, I forget the name of his new book he put out. Something about broke. Going from
the power of broke. Yeah.
Say it again.
The power of broke.
Yes, and he's saying that there's power in that, because when you, like you just said, when your back is against the wall, that's when you're like, okay, do I lay down or do I come out fighting, man? Yep. So you already proved that you're a fighter. So, which, you know, here's the thing, which leads me into my next question, because with not telling your family at first, I totally get that, because, you know, here it is, you're blazing a trail of entrepreneurship. But to blaze a trail by being a brandologist, I don't even know if that's a word.
Right.
How do you tell them, yo, I'm going into branding, when most people have not even heard of that word? Why branding? That would seem to me like the most difficult business to just take on.
It is. Like, I'll be honest, it is not like an easy thing
Mm-hmm.
because like I had a client session this morning and she was like, I don't call you as often because I know you've always had a lot on the brain. And I'm like, I do. Like, I feel like a crazy woman because I'm I'm doing everything with my brand, but my job is to maintain other brands and help build brands. So it's like my brain is always like divided
Wow.
times 100. And that's challenging, but I love the challenge because I know the beauty of really tapping into and leveraging who you are authentically. I mean, so you do it all the time. People love you for you. That is your brand. They know
Thank
you're
you.
funny, and then but they know at the same time you're open, you're transparent, and that is what has gotten you the opportunities that you've been able to create for yourself and everything else. So, branding is something I didn't like 5 years ago. I had no idea this is what I would be doing like
Mm-hmm.
full time. But it's funny because it's when you have a strong brand, other people kind of tell you what that brand is. And for a long time, people were like throwing hints at me, like, this is what you should be doing, this is what you're good at. But
Mm-hmm.
I was ignoring it by doing everything else in the world because it was easier. Like, it was just easier for me to do a billion other different things. But one day somebody said something to me, and he's a pastor. And I'll never forget it. He said, I want you to teach me how to be you, but in my own way.
Ooh.
First thing I said, like, I was like, wow, that's personal branding.
Wow.
Like, but he wasn't the first person to tell me that. It was just how he said it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I really like changed my entire business model. I changed everything. And I said, I've got to continue to be me because clearly that is what people are seeing and that's what they're resonating with. And I said, like, if I can do it, everybody else can too. Rather, you don't even have to be an entrepreneur. Like,
Right.
I did a keynote with TD Bank in February, and they brought me on to talk about personal branding in the workplace. And that's when I really realized, like, wow, you don't even have to be your own boss to have a personal brand. Like, if you want a promotion or to become the CFO for a company, then you've got to have your own unique identity, even at
Ooh.
work.
Ooh.
And so, like, that is really deep, and I think a lot of people miss it. And society has kind of excluded branding as just a business thing or
Mm-hmm.
just an entrepreneurship thing, but it's not. Like, every person walking this planet has a brand of their own. It's just a lot of people, they die and go to the grave with it, and nobody gets to experience it at all.
Wow, that's deep. That's really deep. And the first time I learned that was when you actually went to speak to TD Bank and you shared with your social media audience a part of your clip. And when
Mhm.
you said, yo, branding is not just for entrepreneurs or a business, it's for you as an individual. To me, that was very, very deep. Even if you work within a company, you need to establish your brand of excellence and who you are
Yes.
to get
Mhm.
the promotion. So I was like, go, Toddy. Go, Toddy.
Yes, yes. Like, it's really a beautiful thing. I mean, to be who you are and people love it or hate it, because it's really going to be one of the two.
Yeah.
Like, there's really no in between. And it's like a beautiful thing that we're really in control of that. Like, a lot of people say, well, I can't control what people say about me or what they think about me. Yes, you can.
Mm.
Like, yes, you can. How you act in public, how you interact with people, what you post on social media, all of that
Mm.
is controllable and we control that. And so, like, that's the beauty of the whole thing. Like, you put out there what people think about you. So if you want them to think good things about you, put out good things. If you want them to think you're positive, put out positive things. Like, whatever you want people to think about you, you are in control of it. I don't believe that people make these preconceptions about you or whatever. Like, you determine that because you're the only one that can put out there really what they think. So, like,
That's a
I don't
different
like when people say
perspective.
that. Yeah.
That's a really different perspective, man. You are really like just enlightening me tonight. I tell you, this is crazy. I mean, really, I never thought about that because we always say that. I can't control what people say and think about me, and but on the other side of that, yes, you can. What is
Yeah.
your brand saying?
Right.
Huh.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, listen, I wrote down some questions because I got to tap your brain while I got you here. Now,
Okay.
I'm really excited about your third book, Brand You Like a Boss. Okay. And I'm everyone who's watching this interview right now, I ask you to go out and go get the interview. The website is right below. Brand You Like a Boss. If we've just heard, it's not just for entrepreneurs or business owners, it's
Right.
for the individual. So if you have a human heartbeat, it's for you.
Yes.
What was your inspiration for writing the book, Brand You Like a Boss?
Well, I kind of touched on it, that the pastor that came to me and said, "Hey, I want you to show me how to be you, but in my own way." And then, like, I always pay attention to, like, the emails that I get, like, when I see people in public, the questions they ask me. Like, I always kind of make a mental note of the questions. And since last year, like, summer last year, branding seems to be the hot topic. Like,
Wow.
everybody is talking about branding, and a lot of people are confused about branding. And it's not what they think it is. And in the book, I say, like, it's really not that deep. Like, the brand art is personal. It's not that deep. Like, I think sometimes we overthink the term, and we get too focused on the term in itself. And we realize that the brand is already there. Now we just got to kind of clean it up a little bit and position it the right way. And it's the same thing. Like, so the inspiration for the book came from all the questions I always get about, how did you build, like, your like, with the podcast and the videos and the speaking and the books? Like, how did you get started, and how have you continued to grow?
Wow.
And so I was like, you know what? Like, I don't want to teach a course about it. Like, why not put it in a book so that somebody that can't afford a $6,000 branding coach, or maybe they can't even afford a $200 1-hour call, something within arm's reach that could give them a real life approach on how to brand themselves in the world. And so that's when I came up with the idea for the book. And then the confirmation I got was when Joy Cook reached out to me at the beginning of this year to partner with her and do a seminar called Brand You. And I was like, you're not going to believe that this is, like, a part of the title of a book I'm releasing this year. Wow. And that was the confirmation right there that I needed to go ahead and go with it. And so every year on my birthday, I birthed something new. And so this year I wanted to do the book. So that was my inspiration for it.
That's really cool, that whole concept. Listen, I'm making mental note of all these concepts here. To birth something new on your birthday, because I had an author on here. I hear your son in the background, and it's all cool.
I'm, like, trying to, like, I am like, keep going.
It doesn't even matter, because that's one of the things about being transparent and authentic. I let people know, hey, this is real life.
Yeah, like, I try to, and people, like, they're used to seeing him. They're like, where's Tyler? And I'm like, well, I got rid of him today so I could do this, but they, like, always ask about him. So, like, yeah, that's a part of, like, my story, I guess.
Absolutely, man. Same here with my son. But yeah, I had an author on recently, and she said that one of the things she does is she plans her book launches around her birthday. And instead of having a birthday party, she has a book launch party. So I just thought, with you saying about the concept of birthing something new every birthday, and then just thinking about what she said, I'm like, I am going to implement that, because that's really, really smart.
Yes, absolutely. Like, it's, because I think when you're purpose driven, and all about this, like, you want everything you can do to help somebody else. Like, it could be the smallest thing. And so normally I don't do anything for my birthday. So when I launched the Tottie brand in 2000, gosh, I don't even remember. It's been a while. 2010, I want to say. I launched it on my birthday. So every year, and then my first book was on my birthday. And so I just tried to think of something creative that will help take me to the next level, but also be able to give back to people and give them some insight on really what my journey has been from birthday to birthday.
By the way, I love that name, the Tottie brand. It's very memorable, and I think that's important when incorporating your brand. But which is a segue into my next question. What do you think?
Flowing, isn't it?
Say again?
It's just flowing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It really is. So what do you think are the main components that every personal brand should have?
Okay, I think that there are, like, 3 main overall components that every brand should have. And that should be your look, from your social media, which is normally, like, nowadays your first point of contact. How are you presenting yourself when you're out mingling and networking? Then the second component is your messaging, and that's the core of your brand. And this could go for personal branding or your business brand, either way. Your messaging is where people have that emotional connection to you or your business. And so that's why it's important for you to be as transparent as you can be and tell the story of how you got to where you are. Because most people that are watching you or following you, they are in situations or in places that you used to be in. In a lot of cases, they don't have anybody to show them the way out of that. So whatever it is that you do, people want to know why you are doing it.
Yeah.
Because that's where the passion comes from. So when you can tell your story through your messaging, and that could be whether you're a speaker or when you go to work, how you interact with the customers, like that's what really drives the customer service. That's what that emotional connection is what draws people and gravitates people towards you. So your messaging is the core of your brand, and then your network is what will allow your brand story to live on even once we are dead and gone. So you want to make sure that you're always strategically networking with people who can benefit from your brand and help the brand to grow as well. So those are like the three main components of that every effective brand should have. So your look, your messaging, and your network.
So what advice would you give to someone who's looking to build their brand? Everybody who's watching this, you can thank me later because I know you're waiting on that question.
Yeah, that's like the big golden question, right? So my advice is to stop downplaying where you are now and leverage the heck out of it.
Ooh.
Whatever it is. My brand did not really start to grow. Like I didn't start to really see the payoff of all the hard work, the years of sacrifice until I started being open. Like people can't, that's like a door that's shut and you're trying to pry it open. People can't connect with you if you're a closed book.
Right.
And it, like, y'all, I'm telling y'all this because it wasn't too long ago that I started really opening up. Like last year, we were forced to move again. And if you've heard my story, you know, we've gone through foreclosures and all sorts of chaos with our childhood home. And last year, after my grandma passed, things started to go really downhill. And literally, I had to find a place that I live in now, like within a week's time. Like, come out, money, everything. And I remember being in the car with my mom one day, and I was like, I'm suffocating again. Yeah, I quit my job, and I'm suffocating again. And she was like, what? And I was like, I can't keep this from them anymore. Like, I've got to share this part because it's killing me. Like, I feel like a fraud. Right. Like, literally, like, I can't keep getting on social media and posting the perfect cards, and I'm, like, suffering over here. Like, I can't do it.
Yep.
And I don't care who judges me. I don't care who hits the unfollow and unlike button. I've got to share. And so that's when I did the I Am Not Your Success Story YouTube video, and that video got thousands of views. Wow. And you know, like I had like my sister, like people calling me crying, like, wow, I didn't know you was really going through all of that. And that's when my brand like made a complete 360. Like I watched everything just flourish from there, like opportunities, I mean, galore. And so my advice is whatever it is you're struggling with, whatever is causing you to cry at night and worry and fret, find a way to give that to somebody else. Because somebody said something once that I heard, if you don't have, whatever you don't have, give it to somebody, something along those lines. And so I figure, like, if I'm suffering through this, let me share this with somebody because maybe they're going through it. And by me having the courage to share it, maybe it'll change their perspective. And in return, my life will change.
Right.
That was my whole thought process on releasing that video. And now I try to keep that thought process with me with whatever I share, because I always feel like even if I'm suffering, I'll get over it because I'm probably stronger than somebody else that may be just sitting around crying and depressed and suicidal. Like, let me share this part. And then you hear people say, well, I won't share it until I get through it. I don't believe that. Like, what? I feel like it's a stronger transfer of energy. People can feel you. Like, feel you. Like, when you did that video when you were in Chicago for David Talbert's seminar.
Well, I was crying practically the whole time.
Crying in the video, and me and my mom were watching it, and we were both in tears because we felt you. If you were present in that moment, and I feel like people that go through the same types of situations, they just feel you, and the connection is so much more genuine. than if you post it like a year from now and you're just kind of telling the replay of it. It's just not as effective, I don't think. So I think, use the story that you have now and just start sharing it. Like, opportunities will come. People will really start to love you, trust you, and really feel like y'all are friends.
Yeah.
And like, people want relationships. And so in order to build relationships with people, you've got to let them into your world. Like, if you don't want people in your world, then you probably won't have an effective brand, because we're nosy by nature and we just want to be a part of everything, especially if we admire what you do. So my advice is to start with the situation you're going through now and figure out a way to leverage it. Whether you journal it and publish it as a book, whether you start a podcast as maybe a diary and release it as a series, or whatever you're going through, find a way to help it to change somebody else's life, and in return it'll change yours, and it'll really make your brand make it 360.
I mean, I totally concur. Just be open. Like you said, we're nosy, and if you don't want to use the term nosy, people, inquisitive. It's the same thing. You're nosy. We're nosy because, like, the people, I don't like to use the word idolize, but the people that I really love and want to emulate, I'm always on the internet, on YouTube, blog sites, looking for information about them. What are you reading? Where do you spend your quality time? Because whatever you're doing is working, and I want to mimic what you're doing. So, but I also know that you weren't always there at that level. We all start at ground level. So I wanted to know, on those days when things weren't going your way, when there was no money in your account, when you had to go through the foreclosures and the bankruptcies, what did you do? How did you get through? Because a lot of times, the human spirit, when it gets broken, it just wants to give up and quit. So how do you persevere and be persistent? So when you have people that are in position like yourself with the Tottie brand, who's willing to be open and transparent and share with your audience how to overcome, you're definitely going to increase your brand awareness. You're definitely going to strengthen your brand. So I think that is a great way. So for those of you that are watching right now, listen, you just got what? $20,000 worth of coaching right there. Now, it's priceless. You really can't put a price on that. Because, and it's funny, I met with a young man today. I shouldn't say young man. He was older than me. But he has a book out that he wrote in 2012. And he's like, I've been hearing your name. Everybody says I need to come to you. And so that told me that, okay, my brand is growing. First thing I said to him was, do you have Facebook? And he's like, nah, I don't want to mess with Facebook, And that's inside, that's what and I was like, come on, dude. And I just simply said, you may not want to, but nobody knows about your book. You want free avenues to have, your brand to grow, you have to get on social media and tell people. And you have to speak. And he doesn't want to speak. And I said, listen, people aren't going to really buy your books until you start speaking. When they can hear your voice and trust you and know that you know what you're talking about, then they will get excited about buying your products. And I said, that's just the way it is. So everything that you said is really the truth. And I encourage people to do it today. Today. Start now. Start building that following, because at the end of the day, it takes time. And it's like you didn't have like the number one. I think I saw somewhere where your podcast was the number one, or it was in the top listed shows on iTunes. That didn't happen overnight. That took time, right?
Definitely not. No. Took lots of years of getting comfortable with even talking. Like, even if you don't talk in the camera right off, like, true story. I used to walk around the house with my phone and just talk like I was talking to thousands of people. Like, I mean, because I always, like, even though life didn't mirror what I saw in my head, I knew that I had to start, like, I didn't want to get the opportunity to speak in front of thousands of people and then, like, not have any idea of what I would say.
Absolutely.
So, like, I would walk around the house and just, like, talk like people would interview me, and I would just, like, answer questions, like, just weird, random visualization. I guess that's what it is.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, like, it takes time. Like, you know as well as I know that building this digital resume, and I say digital because this is where the world is going. Like, it's everything. Like, you can't say, or you can't meet with Oprah tomorrow and say, oh, well, I want my own show on your network. she's going to ask you, well, have you had your own show before?
Yeah.
Or what, have you ever interviewed anyone? Have you? So why not start the YouTube channel and do your own show? Like,
Absolutely.
all that stuff will stay online forever. People will always be able to Google something that you've done. If you want to do radio and you're not in the position to get the job on a big radio show, do a podcast.
Yes.
Like you can't just create products. I mean, you can. Like I always tell people, create products, never stop creating. But if you wanted to reach the level of people and the number of people that you wanted to reach, you've got to start positioning it a little bit better. And even if, like, I can't stand when people say, "Oh, well, I'm not on Facebook. I hate that social." Girl, bye. Like, if you want to have the influence that you really want, you're gonna have to sometimes get a little uncomfortable.
Yes.
Because I didn't like doing video. Like, if you go back and look at my old YouTube videos, I sucked. Like, I was not comfortable. I was timid in front of the camera. I absolutely hated it. But now looking back, I was talking about the same types of things, but every level you just grow and you get better because now you're comfortable. And even though now when I speak in front of a crowd, I mean, you naturally get a little jitters and a little nervous, but that's just like the passion, really.
Yeah.
It's not like you're like really scared and you can't even like go out and speak to people. Like, it's all practice.
Yes.
Like, you got to practice doing this stuff, and it may seem silly, but it's a part of the process. Like, you got to go through this part of it to get that big opportunity.
You're right. And I think I heard you say one time that you were I just want to drive this point home, and we're going to ask you the last question, but I heard you say one time that you were actually recording your show in your closet. So it doesn't take expensive studio time or anything like that. It's just how passionate are you? How creative are you to get it done? And so I salute you for that, man, to have one of the top shows on iTunes. And tell them real quick, what's the name of your show?
Is my podcast is Table Talk with Tottie. And speaking of closet recording, before we got on here, I just recorded the first episode of the series I'm doing for the book, for a podcast series that I'm doing. So yes, I record in my closet and I record on my iPhone. I don't even have a mic or anything like that. But like the message, like you just got to get the message out there.
That's
like,
it.
Like all of that other stuff is just irrelevant, and it's an excuse for a lot of people. Oh, I don't have the equipment. Excuses.
I had a video to make it to BET nationwide from recording it from my cell phone. So like you said, excuses. Tell everybody where they can get Brand You Like a Boss and why they should get it. I mean, what sets it apart from other books that's on the market about branding?
So Brand You Like a Boss is different from other branding books because I'm giving a real life approach, and the book is not filled with just a bunch of definitions and terms. I'm giving you real life examples of literally how I started branding myself from the day I launched the Tottie brand years ago, and how I've created my own platform. And that's like the biggest leverage that I have now, because I've created my own platform, and how ordinary people can do the exact same thing through podcasting, through video, through becoming an author. Like, anybody can become an author. So in the book, like I said, it's not filled with definitions. So it's a real life approach, straight to the point on how I did it. And by the time you finish reading the book, you'll literally know how to tap into, because I think a lot of people haven't tapped into their personal brand yet. They don't know what unique value they bring, or if they do know, they haven't really leveraged it. So I'm walking you through, and I'm also really exclusively sharing the framework that I use with my one-on-one clients.
Good.
In the book. I'm like giving everything in this book. So I'm really excited about that. And then for the people that work in corporate America or still working 9 to 5, I'm talking about personal branding in the workplace. So that's the difference between the book. The book is now available on pre-order. You can go to brandyouLikeAboss.com/pre-order. It's also on Amazon. So those are the two places you could like keep up with what's going on and all that good stuff.
Good deal. And I want to say to anyone who's watching, she does incredible press kits. Oh my God, she did one for myself. And let me tell you, I've been sharing those press kits with different people, and I know it has had an impact on some of the speaking engagements I have been getting. Matter of fact, I was able to share it because I'm going to speaking engagement in Texas.
Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. So listen, connect with Tottie, because she knows what she's doing about branding, press kits, all kinds of stuff. Just connect with her. Her website is below, and definitely get the book, Brand You Like a Boss. Any closing remarks before? Tell them how they can find you on social media, close us out, and we will say goodnight.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sue, for having me on. I'm excited.
My pleasure, man.
And you can connect with me all over social media, everywhere, at Official Tottie. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. That's my favorite place to be.
Really?
I'm
old. I got to get there.
And then I'm also on Facebook, facebook.com/Official Tottie.
All right, so I love that, how it's all uniformity, Official Tottie. I'm sure you're teaching that in the book too, probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because what I can't stand is for someone who's running the business and their business name does not, it has nothing to do with what they're teaching or what they're selling or their name. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. But oh well. So get the book, and you won't make that mistake. You will learn. You will know how to be branded like a boss. Where again can they get your book?
brandyouLikeAboss.com/pre-order.
All right, awesome sauce. Maybe we'll get you back on the show after I've read the book. How about that?
Absolutely, we can do that.
Awesome. Listen, everyone who's watching, remember to live, love, learn, and laugh. Don't quit. Follow your dreams to success. Thank you, Natasha Tottie Weston, for being my guest today on the Sueham Show. You guys have a fantastic night. Peace.